Hi, good morning. Today we're going to talk about decimals. It's an easy topic. Most of us should know what decimals are, but we're going to review it anyway. Okay, so here we go. Copy that, make that title into your table of contents, and let's get intro to decimals, and then let's get to the do now. Okay, you can press pause so you can copy this and do it, and then come back. Okay. All right, now that you're done, um, I'm going to do this with you guys. So here we go. I will draw a number line, that being 0, that being 1, that being 2. I don't need to draw too many numbers on the right side. I will make an arrow over here. I need to draw 1, -1 I should say, -2, and a -3. Okay. First number, -1.5. So it's -1.5 steps away from 0. So if you're at 0, because it's negative, you're going left, so you're going -1. -1.5 is right here in the middle, -1/2. Okay. Second one, 1 5 6. So you're going positive, so you're going to the right side this time. So you're taking one full step, and then you're not taking another full step, but you're taking 5/6 of a step. So imagine if between the area between 1 and 2 is divided into 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. You would go 1 and 1 6, 1 and 2 6, 1 and 3 6, 1 and 4 6, 1 and 5 6. So you would land right here. Okay. Next one, -2 and 1/3. Again, you're going to the left side because it's negative, so you're taking -1 steps, -2 steps, and then you're going to take 1/3 of a step. So imagine if the next area here was cut up to 3. 1, 2, 3, and you're taking 1/3 of a step. So here's -1/3. Okay. Finally, -0.9. 0.9, it's not exactly 1. It's less than 1. So you go from 0, you would go all the way to close to 1, but not fully 1. So right about there would be 0.9. Okay, that should have been easy. And that's that. The other thing I want you to review is change the following fractions to a decimal. So changing a fraction to a decimal, round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So let me do the first one here, and then you can press pause. So 1 over 8. Okay, so 1 over 8. Remember, to change a fraction to a decimal, you're going to divide. A fraction is a division. Okay, this can be read 1 over 8, 1/8, or 1 divided by 8, which is exactly what we're going to do. 1 divided by 8. 8 does not go into 1, so you can add a 0 on top, and you can add a decimal, which allows you to add a 0 here. 8 goes into 10 one time. 10 minus 8 is 2. Let's bring another 0 down. 8 goes into 22 times, which is 16. Subtract, you get a 4 left over. Let's add another 0. So, and 8 goes into 45 times, making this 0.125. Okay? So 1/8 is the same thing as 0.125. So press pause, finish the next 3 problems, and then press play. Alright, so 3/4. Again, the numerator always goes inside. Okay, 3 divided by 4. 4 goes into 3 0 times. Add a decimal, add a 0 here. 4 goes into 37 times. 28. Subtract. Let's bring another 0 down. And that gives you a 5. So 3/4 is 0.75. 4/5. 4 divided by 5. 5 goes into 4 0 times. Add a decimal, which allows you to bring a 0. 5 goes into 48 times. So 4/5 is about 0.8. And finally, 9. So it's 2 divided by 9. You're not using a calculator, should have said something, but don't use a calculator. Hopefully you didn't. 9 goes into 2 0 times. Add a decimal, add a 0. Now it goes into 22 times, which is 18. And let's bring another 0 down, see if we can continue. 9 goes in 22 times again. Hopefully you're seeing a pattern by now, which means that this is going to go forever and ever, 0.2222. So your options are writing it like this, or because the question said round to nearest hundredth if necessary, so you're going to go 0.22, okay, because the second place to the right is your hundredth. Okay, if you didn't know that, it's okay because we're going to review decimals right now. So, but that's how you changed a fraction to a decimal. So this you don't have to copy because you're going to get a somebody's going to come around and give one of these out, and you want you to copy this into your notebooks. Okay, so on the left side, here's a decimal, and let me just make it a little darker. To the left of the decimals are your whole numbers. To the right of the decimals are your decimals, or you're going to soon find out the fractions, parts. So 2 ones means $2 bills, 7 tens means 7 $10 bills, 8 hundreds means 8 $100 bills, 5 1000s means 5 $1,000 bills, okay, if they were circulating. There are no $10,000 bills because it's 0 here. If there was a $100,000 bill, there would be 6 of them, and if there were a $1 million bill, there would be 9 of them. Okay, on this side we got tenths, hundredths, thousands. Remember, money goes up to the hundredths place. Okay, but let me show you now. So you don't have to copy this because again, you should have one by now. Glue it, staple it to your notebook. Don't lose it. Let's see this place value chart in a different way. So here's that same place value chart. It's a little messier, but I want you to focus here at the bottom. First decimal place is a tenth. That means something that was broken up into 10 pieces and you took 4. Second place is called the hundredth, which means something that was broken into 100 pieces and you took 5. Thousands, something that you broke up into 1,000 pieces and you took 6. 10,000s, something that you broke up into 10,000 pieces and you took 7. And so forth and so forth. And we can go on and on and on. There's millionth, 10 millionth, 100 millionth, billionth, okay? But that's what fractions, these decimal places, means to the right, okay? Starting with the first place, which is a tenth, and going as far as you want to the right, okay? Depending on how small you're breaking up your item, okay? So that's what that means. Let's see what I have next. So next part. So here's something, picture that I like. You don't have to copy this, okay? So just follow me. Pay attention for now. So let's make a number here. 3.148. Okay, 3 means 3 boxes, 3 full boxes. There's one, and I'm not going to draw another one because I'm out of space, but it would be 3 full boxes. 1/10, which means something broken up in 10 pieces, as you can tell here, and you took 1. And the hundredth, which is where the 4 is, the hundredth place, something that was broken into 4 pieces, and you took 4. And the thousandth, something that was broken into 8 pieces, and you took 8. Okay, I'm not going to be exact here, but let's just assume that that is 8. Okay, that's how decimals work. That's what each one works. Okay, so let me erase this. And let me give you an example, two examples with money. So let's take $1 and this. So it's a full dollar and something that was broken up into 10 pieces and you took 3. If your dollar is broken up in 10 pieces, each of these are worth 10 cents. So 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents. And that's what this reads, $1 and 30 cents. Sometimes you see it written like this. It's okay. It means $1.30. It's still 30 cents. And in the hundredths place, are you taking or shading any? No, you're not. You could have added another 0. That still says $1.30 because there's nothing to shade here on the thousands. Something broken to thousands, you're not taking any. Something broken to hundreds, you're not taking any. That's why we say this with decimals. You don't have, if zeros are at the end, you can erase it because it does not make a difference. Okay. So again, let's use another example with money and make it, I don't know, $1.78. Took $1, which is one full square, 7 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 pieces. And then on the hundreds, so you got 7 dimes and how many pennies? 8 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So remember, this is the tenth, something broken up in 10 pieces. This is the hundredths, and the thousands, something broken up into 1,000 pieces. Rarely are we ever going to work with 3 decimal places, but it's nice to know. Okay. So I want you to take a look. These, you don't have to copy the pictures. I'm trying to make it a little bigger, but I would like you to look at it, and I want you to write it, each representation here, as a fraction and as a decimal. So let me do the first one, and then you can press pause and do the rest one. So letter A, in your notebook I would write letter A. Here's something that's broken as a fraction. This should be very easy. Something that was broken into 1, 2, 3, 10 pieces. Okay. And how many were shaded? 9. Okay. And then as a decimal, remember, this is my decimal here. Why is it not working? Here's my decimal. Okay, there are no full squares, so that's 0. So it's 0 point something. And I know we're talking about the tens place because it was broken up into 10 pieces, and out of the 10 pieces, we took 9. So as a fraction is 9 out of 10, or as a decimal is 0.9. Something that was broken in 10 pieces, and I have 9. Here, as a fraction, alright, so, sorry, press pause, do the following, take a couple of minutes, do the rest, and come back. So, now that you're back, B, it would be 1 out of 10, or 0.1, okay? First, remember, first decimal place the 10th, okay? C, so decimal first this time, 0.4, or 4 out of 10. D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 0.6 or 6 out of 10. E is 3 out of 10 or 0.3. F, 8 out of 10 or 0.8. G is just 0. And then finally H is 2 out of 10 or 0.2. Okay. This one. Okay, again, I'm going to try to make it a little bigger, but I want you to do the same thing. Write it as a fraction, and I want you to also write it as a decimal for each one. Okay, might be a little hard for those of you in the back, but it should be okay. So letter A. Press pause. Sorry. Do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then press play again. So letter A, as a fraction. Okay, I'll write on top. These are 10 by 10 boxes, so as a fraction is something out of 100, and that's 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 out of 100. Or as a decimal, now it's something cut into 100 pieces, so I have to go 2 decimal places to the right. And how many pieces are there? 26. This one, 4 out of 10, or 0.4. Easy enough. Next one, it's out of 100 again. And you have 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, or 0.45. Next one is 1 out of 10, or 0.1. E is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 59. Okay, 59 out of 100, or 0.59. F is 31 out of 100, or 0.31. Okay. G is 0.8, or 8 out of 10. And finally, 20 out of 100, or 0.20. Okay. Hopefully you're not having any trouble with this. Okay, so let's see what we have next. So now, this is something that I want to show you. So here's something that's broken into 6 pieces, 10 pieces, and 6 are shaded. Something that's broken into 100 pieces and 60 are shaded. Okay, this also shows you why we don't need that 0 at the end. It means the same thing. Okay, one is 60, the other one is 6, and you can tell by the shaded area they're exactly the same. Okay. That's okay. So this one, I'm just gonna do a couple one because you'll get one to do on your worksheet. But pretend for a second that you had to shade. So let's say the first one, it was 0.084. And I asked you to shade the grids here. So this first 0 is in the tens, which means these guys right here. There's nothing to shade because they're 0. The 8 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what you shade. Okay. If that was money, okay, that would be 8 cents, and that's exactly what you have. Out of 100, you have 8 pennies. Okay. But there's one more here. Out of 1,000, you're taking 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's do one more. 0. I don't know. 792. So out of the dimes, okay, again, imagine for a second that it stops right here at 79 cents. You represent 79 cents. 1, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 cents. And you want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 79 cents. That would be a representation for 79, but it's not 79, it's 792 thousandths, like that. Okay. So you get to do some of those later. this you'll get later on too, but not yet. It's a representation of fractions, decimals, and percent. Their equivalents. Okay, so let's take here, look at here, this line right here. So for example, 1/10 as a fraction, as a decimal is 0.1, or as a percent is 10%. That makes sense. Think about a test. Okay, you got 10 questions, you got one right, it's 1 out of 10. Now as a decimal is 0.1, or as a percent is 10%. Okay. Let's look at this one right here. Fraction. 5 questions on a test, you got 3 right, it's 3 out of 5. Or as a decimal is 0.6. Or as a percent is 60%. Okay, but we'll get to more detail on that later. Okay. There's a couple more things I want you to do, or I want us to do. Decimal numbers between decimals. Okay, what does that mean? All right, I'm going to try. Let me draw the number line here. Okay, and let's say that's 0. Hang on a second. All right, pay attention first. I don't know if I want you to copy this particular example or the next one. So here are two decimals, 0.72 and 0.73, and I'm asking you to come up with, I don't know, let's say, give me 3 other numbers that are between 0.72, 0.73. And how are you going to do that? Okay, so I drew a number line at the bottom, and you can obviously tell here that there's a big space in the middle. Okay, and there are numbers between these two. Now, how would you go about putting those numbers? This number in the middle. So imagine for a second, okay, that you could add a 0 here at the end, and add 0 at the end. Remember, adding a 0 at the end when it's a decimal, it doesn't change the value, so we're not changing anything. 0.72 and 0.720 is still the same number. So let me move this guy just a little bit to the left. Okay. So 0.72, and we added a 0. So what do you think this first number is going to be? 0.721, making this 0.722, 0.723, 0.724. The middle numbers obviously is going to be 0.725, 0.726, 0.727, 0.728, 0.729, and finally 0.730. Okay, so the trick here is to add a 0 to the end so that you can start your count. Okay, so let's erase this, and this one I want you to copy. Actually, you know what? Let me do one more. So decimal numbers between us. So let's pick a number like 1.6 and 1.7. Okay, what numbers are between those? So easiest way for you to do, if I said, please give me 2 or 3 numbers that are between, is to draw a number line. Make one 1.6, make this 1.7. The trick here was to add a 0 here and add a 0 here. You're not changing the value, so you can continue here. So if that's 1.60, to come up with 2 numbers, any 2 numbers, this one right here would be 1.61. You can say, hey, this is 1.69. You're done. if I only ask for two numbers, the one in the middle would be 1.65. Okay, and you could have created many more. Okay, so I want you to do this one, and let's see. So copy the title here, decimal numbers between number, and I want you to find two decimal numbers that are between 5.31 and 5.342. Okay, so go ahead. I'm just going to draw a line. It's 2 points. Okay, and press pause. Let's see what you guys come up with. All right, so this is 5.341. This is 5.342. Okay. Add a zero. Add a zero. Make sure they both have 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. This one also has 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the next number right after 5.3410 will be 5.3411. The one right before this would be 5.3419. Okay, I'll do one more. This would be 5.3412. Next one will be 5.3413, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. Alright, so let's try between 0.81 and 0.815. Okay, let's see what you guys come up with. So you don't have to draw, well, you know what, just draw the number line. It helps. Okay. Press pause. Okay, this one, be careful. Okay, and press play when you're ready. So you should have done this. That's a smaller number, goes here, 0.01. This one is 0.815. Okay. Keeping with what we had, we add a 0 here. Now, do I need to add a 0 here? No, I don't, because if I add a 0 here, that would make this number with 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal spots, where this one has 1, 2, 3. So I don't need to add a 0 on that side. Okay, I only needed to add a 0 on this side. So 0.810, 0.811, 0.812, 0.813, 0.814, boom, 815. So if I asked you to come up with 2 or 3 numbers between this guy and this guy, all these numbers in black would have been your right answer. Okay. We're still going to do one more, possible 2 more. So it's the one with negatives. So we got, negative 0.6 and 0.5. Number line. Careful how you draw a number line. Okay. So this is 0. Let's assume this is negative 0.5 and this is negative 0.6. Okay, this is not to scale, obviously. Let me just erase this because I don't need it like that. So the only thing you had to be careful with is that 0.5 does not come here, and 0.6 when it's negative, it's backwards, huh? So you're starting at somewhere 0. So if you're walking from 0 and you're walking this way, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, and then 0.6 is going to be that way, okay? It increases as you go left. So you have to be careful here. So 0.6, negative 0.5, and 0.6, you want numbers in between them. So nothing changes, okay? Add a 0, add a 0. So your first number over here would be negative 0.51, 0.52, negative 0.53, and so on and so on. Obviously, one number here behind would be 0.59, negative. This would have been 0.58, negative, and 57, 56, 55, 54, so forth and so forth. So numbers between negative 0.60 and negative 0.50 are all these numbers over here. Okay. Let's do one more. I know I said that 3 times already. Okay. But let's do this one. So let's do negative 1.25 and negative 1.26. Again, be careful when you're drawing your number line. It grows from left to right. So if you're starting on this side over here and you're walking that way, you start at 0 and your numbers start increasing. The first number you're going to reach is negative 1.25. And then as you keep walking, it has to be negative 1.26. Okay. Remember, as you're walking to the left, you're further away from 0. The more you walk to the left, just as when you're walking to the right. More right you go, the further away from 0 you are. Okay. So here, nothing changes. Add a 0. Add a 0. So it's 1.250. So this would be negative 1.251, negative 1.252. I'll do one more, negative 1.253. Okay, and we keep going, 254, 255, 56. Another number somewhere in here would be negative 1.257, 58, 59, and 260. Okay, so to find decimal numbers between decimals, okay, most times you have to just add a 0, okay, and to find numbers in between, okay. Okay, last thing I want to do is you're going to eventually do problem 3.4 on page 76, but I want to just go ahead and do a little bit of it so you can get an idea. So page 76, problem 3.4. Okay, get your book out, open it, because I want you to pay attention to the screen. You don't have to copy this. So you have a number line. Okay, they gave you a number line like that, and they broke that into 4 pieces. That's 0, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. And then they gave you a box under it, broken into 10 pieces. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And one of the questions they ask you, using the boxes at the bottom that was cut into 10 pieces, okay, which of the fractions can you find an equivalent using the boxes? So here's a box that was cut into 10 pieces, okay? So think of this as a decimal. So if I shade this as a decimal, because it was cut into 10 pieces, it would be 0.1. If I shade 2, it would have been 0.2. Okay, so let me go back because that's not part of the answer. So 1.4, I can't use the boxes here at the bottom because I have to estimate where the half is. 3/4, I also have to estimate. It doesn't fall exactly on the line. The only fraction that falls straight is 2/4. So 2/4 as a decimal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because those will be shaded. Okay, so I can't use this marker, the 1/4. I can't find an exact because it doesn't fall. But 2/4 falls exactly here in the middle, so that works. Okay, so that should be more or less of a hint for you guys to do problems 1, 2, 3 on part A. Okay, part B, on the next page, on page 77, I'm going to do one problem. It says, which of the fractions below could be written with tenths or hundredths in the denominator? Alright, so let's take 1/3. Is there a way of changing that? And we go back here to ratios, to changing that 3 to a 10. There's something I can multiply this to make it a 10. Or even 100. So nothing really, not whole number, no exact whole number multiplied by 3 will give you 10, or multiplied by 3 we can give you 100. So with 1/3, not really can change to an equivalent fraction. Let's take 1/5. Can I change that to a 10? Very easily. Times 2 times 2. So 1/5 the same thing as a 2/10, and if it's written in tenth as a denominator, I can change that to a decimal. Remember, tenth is the second space. So as a decimal, 1/5 could be written as 0.2, which is the same thing as 2/10. So sometimes when they ask you to find a decimal representation for 1/5, it's easier if you change that 5 to a 10, because you can then write it very easy as a fraction. Let's try 100. Is there a way of writing 5 as 100? Yes, there is. It'd be times 20. And then times 20 on top. So if you have a fraction that's 20 out of 100, you can write that as a decimal. And since it's 100, we go 2 decimal places. And 100, something was cut into 100, we took 20 pieces. And notice that this 2 are exactly the same. So some fractions you can change it to tens and hundreds, okay, to then change it to a decimal, which makes life very easier, like 1/5. Some fractions like 1/3 you can't, so you're going to actually have to divide and find out what the decimal is. Okay, that should help you for that. That's it. So there's a lot of work to be done. I want you guys to do I'll write it down on the board, but I want you to read 3.3. I'll write this down here. 3.3. So page 70 to 74. It's 3.3. Okay. And then from 74 to 78. Problem 3.4. Okay. Again, don't forget, guys. You are responsible for all this work. I will check because I still have to give you completion for homework. There's one Learn Zillion video, okay, tonight, and I made sure to put it already. Okay. And I'll write all this on the board again tomorrow morning. Okay. And the answers to all your homework problems are on videos that I'm putting on the class website. So after you do all these work in class and you do your homework, check your answers on the class websites because I'm putting videos over there. Okay, that way we're going over, even though I'm not there, we are going over the answers. You'll get a quiz, I believe, sometime Thursday or Friday this week. Okay, that's it.